Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us on our walk through image development today. You know, I was a victim of poor self-image because I didn't know what good image involved. In fact, as I was walking out of my office building with a friend one day, she said to me, "You know, MJ, you really ought to put some work into your image." I had no idea what she was talking about. Then I went to speak. My husband and I do a lot of public speaking, and our host walked us to the plane and she said, "You know, MJ, now that you're making more money, you might want to put some money into your image." Again, what are they talking about? So we hopefully are going to share with you today some of the principles of putting together a good image. You know, I have a story that I'd like to share with you because all of us think something is wrong with our body. We're concerned about our hips, our face, our stomach's too big. You know, we all have that imperfection that we concentrate on. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about a man and wife. They were dating, and she always had bad breath. No matter what she did, she could not get rid of her bad breath. And he had a problem where his feet always stunk. And so she would not go real close to him because she didn't want him to feel her bad breath. But they dated and decided to get married, and on their wedding night, he went into the restroom first and took off his socks and tried to wash his feet, and he said, "Oh, they still smell so bad, I don't know what I'm gonna do." But he came out, got into bed, she went into the bathroom, and she started to brush her teeth, thinking, "Oh, I've got to get this breath under control. What am I gonna do? He's gonna notice it." And she said, "I'm just gonna have to fess up." So she got real close to him in bed on their wedding night, and she said, "I've really got to tell you something." And he said, "I know, you ate my dirty socks." Because both of them had an imperfection, and that's the way each of us zero in on what's wrong with us instead of what's right in our lives. So I hope that you will learn today some things that will help you put your image together and keep you from worrying about and concentrating on things that maybe you don't think are good in your image. I was kind of a victim of not knowing image, and yet I learned how to put together a good image. And I know that for some of us, we have to use a lot of tricks to put our image together. We're basically a vision of illusions. And you'll hear about some of that today when you can learn how to dress your body frame and know your clothing personality. But it reminds me of another couple that got married, and he got in bed and she went in the other room and she took out her false eyelash. She took off her false eyelashes and she took out her shoulder pads, and she had a prosthetic neat leg, and so she took it out and put it in the drawer. And her husband looked at her and said, "I don't know whether to get in bed with you or jump in that drawer." Because sometimes we do use illusions to have a good look. So you're going to hear about some of those that will help you today. One of the things that I'm passionate about is helping women look their best, because it's just based on ABC. I didn't know the ABC and was thrilled once I was taught. I hope you'll find the information equally as beneficial. I also want to tell you that one of the other pieces, beside what you're going to learn today, is your hair to have a good self-image. And you know, I try to teach people, don't still go to the same hairdresser that you did 20 years ago, or that your mother went to, or because your aunt is a hairdresser, or somebody you go to church is a hairdresser. Find a style you like and look in town to see who has the haircut you would like to have. I've done this in 2 different cities that I've lived in. And I found someone that had a haircut I liked. And then I said to them, "Who cuts your hair?" It's a compliment, because I'm telling them, "Your hair looks great. I'd like to know who cut your hair." And that's how I have found the hairdressers that I have today and have had in the past. I think it's sad when people get stuck with a bad haircut just because it's precedence. That's what they've always done. You're first going to hear from Christina. She is a fashion model, has modeled in Japan and Toronto, and has been in many corporate magazines, Sears catalogs, etc. She's just a very sharp gal, and she's very special to me because I saw her grow up. I knew her parents, and she has become an absolutely beautiful young woman. She knows her subject of image, and I know that she will help you in telling you what colors are in this season and what trends there are. And then you're going to get to hear from my good friend Ruth Milliron, who is going to teach you body frame, clothing personality, how to put your look together. And she is a world-renowned image speaker. She has a degree in line and design. She has fulfilled many top positions in design, and she is here to share with you how what her knowledge can do for you will make a huge difference in your life.
Hello, ladies. Well, I am looking forward to sharing some really exciting stuff with you. And what is that I'm going to be sharing? Well, I'm going to be sharing the color trends and the fashion trends coming for fall and winter 2022-2023. So exciting time. I always love fall, not for the season that's going to bring after, but for all the new trends that are coming in, the rich colors that come in. They're so beautiful. They're just, they're some of the most beautiful colors. And I think it's just that changeover from spring and summer. You kind of after the spring summer colors, you get into those richer colors of the fall, and some of the fabric and things that the richer, deeper fabrics that we have. More texture fabrics that we have for fall winter. It's always exciting. So if you're anything like me, I love trends, I love fashion, I love when the new things come out. I'm always looking forward to it. A lot of the stuff repeats itself over the years, and you can pull out those classic pieces, like what I'm pulled out now. We're going to talk about some of that today: pearls and men's ties and vests and that look. We're going to talk about what that trend is coming forward. But also, if you're not somebody who is as trendy, or you prefer more of a classic or something, just you like things to just be more comfortable, and maybe you're more of a natural, you could still have some fun in these seasons with some of the things that I'm going to teach by, maybe not to the extent that somebody like myself would go to, but you have to grasp and see what's the best version of me. What do I love? And maybe it's some new colors that you'll add that year. Maybe it's a jacket, maybe it's a vest, maybe it's a scarf in those new colors or those new textures. It doesn't have to be a whole new changeover. And actually, Ruth is going to share on that, and we're excited about the how-tos of what she's going to share after my segment. But I'm looking forward to talking about color and the trends, as I mentioned, for fall 2022 and winter 2023. And where do those colors come from? Actually come from a committee called the Pantone. You're looking at these slides, you're wondering, what's Pantone? Well, the Pantone Committee is a group of people that are pretty much represent internationally, and they basically set the trends for clothing color trends, makeup color trends, car color trends, paint for your walls in your home color trends. And that's why sometimes you're driving and you see, for a year or two, the same color cars over and over. Like lately, I've noticed in the last 2 years a lot of white. Why? Because white was very popular Pantone color a couple of years ago, and that stays with cars for a while. Fashion changes faster, so does makeup, but things like cars and paint is a little bit longer. So we're going to talk about those trends. And one of the ones I'm excited about is that the big color this season is brown. We're going to talk about all the colors, but one of the big colors this season is brown, because brown is the new black. Now, I love black, and I wish I could wear black more often, but if I wear all black right now, I'm light blue and black, and that's fine. But if I wear all black, it's kind of draining for me. But brown is my black, and I love that. And so, this year, that's exciting for me because I do love brown. And there's all different tones of brown that if you're not sure, oh, what brown is good for me, you're going to see that as we walk through. There's different tones of brown that you can go with, that you can decide, okay, I'm going to go with this color for me. And so let's talk about some of those colors. We've got, bright oranges and intense reds. We've got violets and purples that are coming in. We've got blues. We've got emerald and all emerald green and olive green, and then plus also silvery grays as well. So here's those Pantone colors that I was mentioning. The orange is going to be very, very popular this year. Or lava falls. If you think about sort of a burnt red, that would be what that color is. Simoon sun is a beautiful. You can just see a rich, deeper yellow, not such a bright yellow that you would see in spring and summer. You've got meadow violet, Pantone rose violet. We've got caramel cafe. Doesn't that sound so beautiful? I love caramel. That's one of my favorite colors coming in for the fall as well. And then chicory coffee, which actually looks really good with that caramel cafe. And then, of course, we've got Loden frost with it, which is a beautiful green. Just think of it more of a frostier green, right? Not as deep as maybe the martini olive. Isn't that an exciting color? And you see the other brighter green in Amazon, and we go into some of more of those muted tones like chiseled stone. If you think about a stone being chiseled, that's a beautiful outfit, by the way. I love that. And of course, polar night, which is sort of not a definite. It's like a dark green, right? Almost like a green black. And then we've got, sort of, it's kind of neat to see water spout coming in. It's water spout coming in. It's like an aqua for fall. Isn't that fun? And then midnight. And then you've got that beautiful lichen blue. And so let's talk about those brown tones coming in and what we're seeing in those trends of the brown tones, all different brown tones, from caramel to the orange to the deeper brown. Beautiful. And then you see that violet sort of purpley color on the bottom left there, and then the oranges, right? Those deep rustic oranges. So let's look at those rustic and bright oranges, right? Accents with orange, so maybe you want to go the orange trend, but orange is not really a color for you. Go with an accent tone like that sweater, right? It doesn't have to be that exact sweater, but there's going to be a lot of accent tones in orange. Maybe it's just in an earring or in a bracelet, right? Beautiful orange. You can see it's picked up there in that jean as well. Or the reds, different reds. That original red that we talked about, that I said is like a burnt, was it lava falls, like a burnt, like a burnt red, I guess, there's so many tones of red, and they're going to be so beautiful this year with camel, right? With that same camel that we were talking about earlier. Absolutely stunning. You see a lot of deep purples and fuchsia, right? Even wearing them together, like you see here, blended here. Again, that's your fall winter colors, right? We're talking about that fall season, which is in 2022, and the winter season going into 2023, right? That's what makes winter fun, is being able to have the different colors that we can go to, those rich colors that we can enjoy, right? And so beautiful, beautiful colors, like I mentioned. Now we're looking at those blues that we were talking about, the purples, the blues. Here's some of those blues in all different ways. It could be in a winter jacket, it can be in a dress, it can be in a boot, in a blouse, in an accessory of any sort. And then the emerald green to the olive greens that we're going to be seeing. Beautiful colors. Again, you're going to see that probably the military green. Again, that olive green seems to be that military green that comes in the fall. And it's always a classic piece to have, that military green. And then now let's talk about the fabrics. What kind of fabrics are we going to see? That's the thing that I love about this season too, is those beautiful, rich fabrics. So we're going to see loads of texture this season. Tweeds, nubby fabrics, right? English plaids, right? And why is that? Because we're going to talk about it going forward, but there's a men's sort of trend coming in, right? We're going to see houndstooth, beautiful, beautiful fabrics for the fall, and they're always fun to mix and match. You know, you could see in the top left picture there with the jacket and then the sweater underneath and the pants, all that just comes together, and they're all different tones of grays and black that you can blend with those patterns, right? Or maybe it's just a jacket in a houndstooth. And of course, I think we all have at least one piece that has that pattern in it. It's a classic piece, right? It's something that you never want to get rid of, the houndstooth and the tweeds and everything. So we're going to see a lot of leather, right? Very, very, supple, beautiful leather. Leather's always rich for the fall. It was a big trend this spring, summer as well. So you can carry those into this season. You can get a, beautiful pair of joggers there that the girl's wearing in the middle, and a nice, even have the faux leathers, which are really fun to play with, and you can find them anywhere, very inexpensive too. Or just, if leather's not your thing, maybe it's just in a bag or in a shoe or in a jacket, right? But we're going to see a lot of leather in skirts, in pants, in culottes, and jackets, and it's always a fun fabric to enjoy in this fall, winter. And then, of course, sheer fabrics, right? We're very calm, tranquil fabrics that we're going to see. It's so funny. We go from that leather trend at the same time, sheer, tranquil fabrics um, sheer fabrics like that. And then fake fur. This has been a trend for the last little while, I've noticed, the last few years. Lots of fake fur, and just enjoying that. There's so many different colors and everything you can get. You can get short coats, long coats, pieces with fake fur. Again, just a big trend for the fall. And then, of course, mohair, which I always find kind of gets stuck in your mouth and your nose, but it's so beautiful. And again, that tranquil fabric. Mohair, even though it's warm and very cozy, but it is that really sort of like light, airy, sort of calm, tranquil fabric, right? And so beautiful in sweaters and cover-ups, and all sorts of beautiful fabrics there, even just a scarf in mohair, right? So here would be sort of like the new classic look, right? With the colors that we're seeing this season, which is the camels, the browns, the greens, right? The leather, the textures that we're going to be seeing. Do it in a cape. You've got all of the colors in one cape there, right? You're going to see a lot of, dramatic tailoring, right? Where, and that monochromatic, right? Where there's all one color. I personally always love that look because it can be classic and it can be dramatic at the same time, which is what you're seeing here. Very dramatic, but maybe you want it a little more classic, so the color won't be as big, but you can take that and make that very classic. But beautiful trends. Again, leather in the belt and in the bag, and in the gloves there, and the texture in that tweed and everything. And then, of course, we've got that schoolgirl men's ties style. That's what I'm doing today. I've had this tie for decades. I've had this vest for over a decade. It's a classic pieces that I always keep because this trend comes and goes constantly for the fall, winter. So you're going to see the kilts and the skirts, but blend them with the leather jackets and the tweeds and the sweaters and those tranquil fabrics as well, and those heavier fabrics. And then I love that one on the right with the vest and the tie and the pants, and you're seeing the tweeds there and then of course you're seeing that brownish, greenish tones, and then you're seeing the blues that are in as well. Coordinate sets, again, that monochromatic one tone, which always gives a very slimming effect. And I believe it's just an easier way to dress because you don't have to worry about anything, you don't have to do too much. It does itself by doing that whole, coordinate sets and monochromatic. And you're going to see a lot of coordinate sets as a trend this year as well as hemlines. The hemlines are going to be mini and mid calf, right? That seems to be the look, as you can see in those slides that we've been going through, right? And again, looking at that monochromatic, I love that monochromatic There's some tweeds there, there's some knits, and it's a very simple yet very polished, put together look. It's probably one of the best ways to have a wardrobe that is also really keeps in budget, because you can do the same color and just sort of have just such a polished chic look without putting too much into it, right? So again, we're going to see mini skirts, still seeing them. This is a trend that seems to be lingering on, right? Um, but that schoolgirl look, but you can do that with the higher boot, which is also a trend this year, the over the knee boot. And do it with a very opaque stocking, right? Obviously, for a fun look, maybe not so much a business look. Also, the chunky combat boots, they seem to be coming this year again. They were very big last year. They're coming in this year as well. High-waisted skirts and pants, which is interesting because we're going to get into another trend coming forward, which is the exact opposite. So you got to figure out what works best for you. There's two trends this season that could work for either part, like either way, whichever way works best for you. I personally don't wear high-waisted very well because I'm short-waisted and have a fuller chest. And so I find that it makes me look short. So one of the other trends we're going to talk about going forward is the lower pant, which seems to work better for me. You may be the opposite, like the girl in the middle there with the green blouse. She's got maybe a smaller chest and maybe a longer waist. So she can wear that high waist and it looks fantastic. And again, we're seeing those beautiful greens, the tweeds, even the high waist with the buttons all the way up. How beautiful is that? And you just got to make sure you don't have a lot of volume on top. Is what you want to see is that smooth waist, right? And just being able to do, the beautiful knit dresses. They seem to be very, very popular from last year and this year as well. Going to look great with the leather boots, the browns, the the opaque stockings and everything. And then now we're talking about low-waisted skirts and pants, which is very interesting, isn't it? That's the trend, because you've got the high-waisted and low-waisted. So this is going to work for someone like my body type, as I mentioned before. I love that look in the middle with the the monochromatic there and all the colors that are coming together. And that's a classic coat, a classic pant, a classic top. Knit turtleneck that you can wear at any time. You can pull it out and put those together. As a matter of fact, I'm looking in my head right now thinking, I can do that. I've got that right now from years ago. I don't have to go buy that. I have that. Never get rid of tweeds. Never get rid of those textures. They're always around. Never get rid of leathers. Leathers are always something that come back. We're not seeing leopard this year, but keep your leopard print. It was in last year. We'll probably see it again going forward, but we're not seeing it this year. But again, looking at these low-waisted, just a beautiful trend, and that's that 70s trend that's coming back. And here we are. Part of that is the bell bottom, which I love. I recommend bell bottom if you're at least 5'6" or 7" or taller. Or make sure that when you're doing it, it works with your body frame. Maybe you need a higher heel to make that bell bottom work. You don't want it dragging on the ground, or you don't want to be too tall and it be too short either. It should be sort of like what that girl is wearing there in the picture with the beautiful high bell bottom with the higher waist and those buttons going up. But again, that's that 70s trend coming in. But you could do it very easily with just a bell-bottom jean. Some of them come really wide, some come a little less wide. Work with your body frame, your height, everything, and your overall style, and you can make that as a day-to-day wear. It's very, very fun. Even with a wedge, you can work with that in the fall. Of course, the chunky knits. I love chunky knits. And they're just so cozy, especially in the colder time, or maybe it's a colder night. You don't want to have to wear a jacket, so you throw those chunky knits and those oversized sweaters on. I love the oversized sweaters. Again, you can do that with a nice pair of leggings, or work with that with maybe a pair of jeans that maybe aren't the bell bottom. But that's okay, because you're doing the oversized sweater with that, maybe more of a tailored fitted jean. And then, of course, bomber jackets. I actually just wore a bomber jacket the other night, which is odd. It wasn't too cold. It was just kind of getting cooler, and I brought out that jacket. Bomber jackets, always keep them. They always seem to come back. You're going to see them in leather. You're going to see them in silky color. You're going to see them in silks. You're going to see them in faux fur as well. And all different sort of styles, sort of the baseball style, or a bomber jacket that has a collar that's more like a blazer. So all different styles. And then, of course, from bomber to maxi. Of course, isn't that the typical of fashion to go from bomber to maxi, right? But we're going to see beautiful maxi coats, and you'll see them in the down-filled poofy, more casual looks, and you can see it in the more dressier looks as well, and business looks, and just so beautiful. I mean, even that orange one there, you can see the trends there, the green and the orange. The orange one could almost be like a dress. If you don't have time to get dressed up, just button up that coat and go, and just, go out like that. We're going to see belted jackets as well. Again, that works for your frame, then great. Maybe a wider belt works better for you, or a slimmer belt works better for you. Here's where you can bring in those tweeds and those textured fabrics and the leather as well. The chain belts, you're going to see big belts and chain belts. Wide belts, whether you wear them on your waist or lower with the hip belts, or the high-waisted. You're going to see the chain belts. Again, pieces you should never get rid of accessories. I have made this mistake so many times. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever see that again. I had a pair of shoes that had a really square toe, and this was about 4 years ago. I said, I'm probably never going to wear these again. Square toe, we're not going to see them. And look what came in a year after that. We've seen square toe for 3 years now. So anyhow, same thing with the chain belts. Keep them, the wide belts, any kind of accessories, always keep them. They're important to have at any time. And look how beautiful that looks with a nice light flowing scarf, as I mentioned before, that calm, tranquil feel, a blazer, and then just have that little chain belt popping out from underneath, even with a pair of jeans. Look how classy that looks. Men's ties. So this is what I'm doing today, because this is the fall. I love every look here. I would wear every look here. Absolutely love it. And it may not be for you. It may be something you say, what? I would never wear a men's tie. Well, these are all very done up to the neck. Maybe for you, if you're more of a romantic, you'd wear it open like I'm wearing it here. Not that I'm not a romantic, but I just wanted to wear it looser today, just because I'm wearing the pearls, which we're also going to talk about is a big trend coming in. But you're seeing there the tweeds, you're seeing the plaids and those beautiful, houndstooth and the English plaids is what we're seeing here. Beautiful. I love all these looks. It's great. I could see that one with the white tie. I think she's wearing runners. I'd put a chunky combat boot with that. That's kind of neat. And then fuzzy accessories, your fur accessories. What's great about these is a lot of them you can get where you can clip them on and off. Keep those because they always come back. I had a jacket one time that had a collar like that green one there with all fur, and I kind of outgrew the jacket. The jacket just wasn't working for me, and so it was a not mohair, Mongolian fur. So of course it's real fur. So I took that off, and I use that now just as a piece, right? It's a piece that could be used over any jacket or as a scarf, and that's what you're seeing here. These could be attached, or these could actually be pieces that you can take off and on. You can see that at the end of the sweater there, or at the end of gloves. I know my mom just pulled out a pair of gloves the other day, leather gloves that had all the fur at the end, and it's just, it's coming in this season. It's going to be exciting, right? Scarves and chokers. Yes, lots of them. Being able to, of course, we love the scarves at that colder time of year to just kind of wrap up a little bit. Maybe you're going to go with that heavier English plaid or just some lighter scarves, but we're going to see a lot of those. And of course, the chokers, and you don't always have to wear the chokers tight. These seem to be longer, sort of looser chokers this year, where they just kind of fall down. A lot of times we're used to chokers here. The choker trend is very much from the 70s, which is what we're seeing, that 70s trend. Very, very big right now in the fall, winter. And pearls, that's what I'm wearing today, is the pearls. I'm wearing multiple strands of pearls. These pearls are definitely 15 years old. I never get rid of them. There's 3 different strands. And I never get rid of them because they are always in style and you can always use them. And stacking them is going to be the thing this fall. Stacking them like you see here. Maybe you're a little more petite and that one in the middle is too much. So go with the one on the left where you've got just a shorter piece. Maybe that's too chunky and you think it's too much. So take a few of those just simple classic pearl strands and wear them. And then you've got the longer with that monochromatic look there, very 70s with the head wrap and the scarf and the long pearls. And again, I caution if you have a larger chest, do not wear the very, very long pearls because they tend to pendulum over your chest. I only know that because I had a very large chest growing up and I couldn't wear the longer pearls. And so, I guess in my teenage years I had that. And so know what works best for you, right? So the shorter ones might work better that way. Over the knee boots, again, this has been a trend we've been seeing for a few years now, and it is still here. It is happening again, and we're seeing it. And if you love that look, you can enjoy that look this fall in many ways, in a heel, in a flat, beautiful with the fur accessories at the top, that fur accessory on the boot, the slouch boot, all the colors, those Pantone colors you see, that the blue, the brown, the burnt red, as I mentioned before, feather accessories, whether it be fur or feather on the boots or shoes. That's another trend that we're seeing this fall. And it just makes sense as you're getting into that cooler season to have those textures that feel warmer, right? And look warmer. And so, we're going to see that, right? And then multicolor handbags, seeing bags that are in different patterns and totes and, you're seeing that orange there and the brown and the camel, right? There's going to be the bucket bag, which is a great classic. Don't get rid of that. That's always a bag that we can have. And that's that, the bag, the strap, it's a bucket. Think about a bucket, a style of a bucket, the bucket bag, the tote. I love the tote. You can throw everything in it. Totes are great. I'm not a small bag girl. I see some girls' bags and I think that is my wallet. But anyhow, I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but I carry a lot of things with me and I tend to help people when they need stuff. They need a Tylenol or an Advil, or they need a nail clipper, or they need whatever, a small mirror, whatever it is, I seem to have it. And then, of course, the pocketbook bag, beautiful, very, very chic. And I, just talking about some of the other trends that we're seeing, I think that we were talking, we were going to see a lot more structure than flair this year, a lot more structure in the clothing. I think that's why we're seeing the men's trends and clothing, right? Boots paired with, leather trousers in colors like burgundy and black and cherry red and orange and that silvery gray that we were talking about, colored boots, which we showed, right? And just really, so many beautiful trends. I think I talked about the oversized knits as well, which I don't know. I just love fall. It's an exciting time for, for the trends that are coming. They just kind of bring a new kind of life to the season, right? Because it's hard to see spring, summer go, but when you have a fun trends coming in, it's always fun to pick up on them and even go to your wardrobe and look back and see, what do I have? What do I have that's in trend right now? What can I wear that would be following the trends? What color do I have? Do I have something orange? Do I have something burnt red? Do I have something caramel? Do I have something in a nice coffee color or brown, and just kind of pull that out, right? And enjoy that. So there's so many big fashion statements coming out this year. I think the biggest one will be those over the, the high boots, whether it be flat or heels or, even a little wedge or whatever. We're going to see a lot of that. So just excited about that. And keep in mind, those who are spending the most money right now on fashion, the top spenders when it comes to fashion and accessories seems to be the millennials, right? So it's a big part of the population, and they're loving those trends. And so I don't know, maybe I'm part of the millennials. I love the trends. I'm not a millennial, but anyhow, I've enjoyed sharing with you the trends that are coming. We're, just again, just really looking forward to them. As much as I'm not looking forward to, as we start to see summer phase out. There is something exciting about all those new trends. And now going into the next portion of our day, you're going to hear from a woman that I have so much respect for. She has helped me over a 20+ year span to understand what styles are best for me, the best version of myself. She has helped me to save money, because I remember her saying, if you look at it, you're not sure, leave it on the rack, because it's going to stay in your closet with the tags on it. And it's true. If that's ever happened to you, ladies, keep that in mind. This is something that Ruth has always taught. So I'm bringing up now Ruth Millaren, who is an international image instructor. She also is the owner of appareladvice.com. But she is just, she's going to teach you the how to look for everyone to look their best with these trends coming. And that's what I love about her. She just knows how to personalize the trends so that anyone can wear them. And so just listen up, ladies. You're going to not only have a lot of fun, you're going to feel a lot of warmth, and you're going to learn so much. And it won't be just for this season. It will be for lifetimes of your image and your self-confidence and your personal, fashion, right? So looking forward to hearing from Ruth Millaren. Thanks so much. I've enjoyed sharing, and take it away, Ruth.
Well, thank you, Christina, for such a gracious introduction. I appreciate that so much. And it's neat to know that over the years of trying to educate women, that some things have really stuck and you have been able to apply them to yourself personally. That says I've done what I need to do. Several years ago, I was asked to write a mission statement. And there's actually a team of us. This has been about 15 years ago. And in this team, everybody's sitting around and they're writing away. And I'm like, I wrote one sentence and I'm done. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? My mission statement was and is and always will be is to teach women their worthiness. I watch women today becoming much more independent, but I don't see them necessarily confident in the sense of watching body language, watching how women handle themselves sometimes. They don't even realize it. None of us do. I have habits I don't realize, and as we all do. But I'm going to pick up here. Christina, thank you for doing a great job of explaining what's going on with fashion, and I always love to do that. But my real purpose then is to tell you what to do with it. And there's two things we have to understand. Number one is we've got to understand our body frame. And some of you may be saying, well, that'd be nice, but I don't know what I am. And I don't know anybody that can tell me what I am. I'll make it really simple for you. If I were to ask you where you put on 5 to 10 pounds first, you've just told me your body frame. For example, if you are low-hipped, there's 2 body frames low-hipped and there's 2 body frames that are high-hipped. Everything about your body frame is all bone structure. So think about where it goes on first. If you were to take your hands and pat your your tummy area by navel and below, and slap your hips and your back end and your thighs, you're immediately telling me that you are an A-frame. In other words, you don't gain weight up on top. It takes a lot to gain weight from the waist up, which does say one thing in your favor, and that is it takes an awful lot of weight to lose a nice waistline, and you'll always have that. And there's all kinds of tricks to balance the body out, and I'll try and refresh your memory on some of those as we go along. Well, since we're talking about high hip, let's go to the H-frame body. H-frame is different. She would kind of touch herself kind of more in through her torso area when she said, when I put weight on. And it's not unusual for her to say, well, it kind of goes everywhere. But think about the H-frame. There's one thing she doesn't have that the A-frame does. She doesn't have a waistline very often. If she does, it's minimal. And when she defines it, it's when she feels like she's 20 pounds heavier than she really is by the visual creation. Her shoulders are equal width to her hip line. And she is more straight up and down as you look at her. And because of her high hip, she has a very flat, my sister's an H-frame, and I call her a buttless wonder. And she is. I mean, she has no hind end. In fact, I'll tell something on her. She buys the pants that have a bit of a built-in curvature in the back, and the reason being is then her pants fit. She has a terrible time getting a good fit in pants, but when she wears those, it's a whole different story. So most of us don't have to do that, but H-frames, yes, you do, and there's another frame that has to. The other frame, by the way, I told you something wrong. I apologize. And I'll just correct it here right now. An A-frame and an H-frame. The H-frame's high-hipped, the A-frame's low-hipped. And don't let me confuse you. I don't know why I did that, but hopefully you understand now. Let me finish with the high-hip. The other high-hipped woman is called a V-frame. And think about her. She's extremely slender, very thin legs, very thin through the buttocks, the hip area on down. But her V is that she comes up, no, not much of a waist. She comes up to the shoulders and gets very broad by comparison. So her shoulders are at least 2 to 3 inches broader than the width of her hip, at least. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of the two, and I'll repeat again, the two high-hipped women are the H-frame and the V-frame. Do I care if you remember the A or the H? Not at all. What I want you to realize and accept about yourself is the fact that you are high-hipped and there are certain looks you'll never wear successfully. Don't be hard on yourself. I don't know a woman that can wear every single thing beautifully. It's not possible. And the reason it's not is it's not just your body frame, but in a few minutes, we're going to get into personalities. And your personal style has a great deal to do with it as well. So, keeping that in mind, let's finish with the fourth body frame. The first low hip was the A-frame. The next and last low-hipped woman is the figure 8. She is the woman that will put weight on evenly. Her shoulders and her hips are equal width. In fact, if she's perfect, she's 1 inch wider in the shoulders than she is in the hips. She is very curved, all right? An H-frame or a V-frame is angled more, but a figure 8 is very curvaceous. She's normally about 10 inches smaller in the waistline. She would have to gain a ton of weight to lose her figure 8. And a true figure eight is going to have at least a C cup in her bra size. Now, this body frame is also called sometimes a balanced body frame. She's equal in the hips, she's low hip, she's equal in hips as she is in the shoulders, she's smaller busted, she's not quite as angular, but very even. And so a figure eight or a balanced body are all the same thing. Don't rule yourself out if you're not at least a C cup, but everything else measures out. The big handicap with a figure eight is that when she puts on weight, she does it very easily. It's right there, and she'll notice 5 pounds instantly. Yes, it goes on all over, but she's really going to sense it and realize it in her clothing. Well, let's take a look at some of the clothes that Christina talked about, and we'll talk about the body frame and why I chose what I did. Please understand, this is just some quick, simple tips. It's not all the clothes that we talked about, it's some of the clothes. We're talking about the little longer hemlines here. A figure, an A-frame can wear a shorter skirt if she's not severe. But if she's more severe in her separation of shoulders to hips, in other words, being bigger on the bottom than on the top, she's going to look better with a little more hem to her dress, skirt, etc. So take a look right now with me. Here we have the tweed suit, and by the way, bow necklines, I've been trying to bring them back, and here they are showing it again with the vest. She's actually not wearing a skirt. She's wearing what you have called skirts, or culottes is another name we use for that. And she's wearing a great boot with it in a nice tweed fabric that is so strong this season. Then we have the gal in the middle who's wearing a flared skirt with a short jacket with a lot of detailing in the jacket, even though she's doing what's so big in fashion this season, and it's the thing I love, and that's monochromatic dressing. You can never make a mistake, as a rule, with monochromatic. And she's doing it here with the matching jacket, with the buttons here that go at an angle, coming out towards the shoulder rather than straight up and down. This gives her illusion of width. And by the way, she's a great one to buy. The shoulder pads that are out there now are so different. Go online and look up adhesive shoulder pads. They're simple, they're clear colored most of the time. They're not the big blocky things we used to think about. These are adhesive and they just stick right to your shoulders. They're wonderful for this gal. And I will say, A-frames have a tough time buying a complete set. For example, very few manufacturers will make that dress set in the middle all one. In other words, you have to buy it in a size 8 or size 10, the jacket and the dress that goes beneath it. They'll size the jacket separately from the dress, and especially the suit with the bow on it. Those are all going to be sized pieces. They understand that a woman's not all one size, and to get the look, she's going to have to vary her sizes. That A-frame is always going to be smaller sized on top than she is on the bottom. Now let's talk about pants. And you'll see the young woman in the monochromatic look here in a pant, and guess what she's wearing? She's wearing the new bell-bottom pant, which looks wonderful on her body frame. It pulls the eye away from the hips, and it increases as it goes to the floor. Now, there's one thing Christina said, and I do agree. The person that wears a bell-bottom vest is going to have a height to her to wear it. The woman that is shorter, that buys one, let's say she's 5'2", 5'3", by the time she gets that missy pant, for example, shortened enough for her. She's going to lose a lot of the bell bottom, and then it will be proportioned. That's a trick. That's just a trick. Christina's comment is the one to go by, but it's not your only option sometimes with a graduated bell bottom. So just a great look right now. And here we go. We've got some skirts. Look at this leather, red leather, so important. The A-line skirt, she wears it so well. Nipped in at the waist and flares out over the thigh and the buttocks area, and you really don't realize. She can wear a pleated skirt like the gal in the middle. She can wear a pleated skirt. They're both wearing the mid calf length skirt, and it looks very nice on them. She's wearing the knife pleat. An A-frame can do that, but she can't wear a stitch down pleated skirt because she'll spread the pleats, and that'll only make her feel big, and she doesn't want that. Over here in with the orange top and the boot cut bottom, that's an A-frame's best pant. I know you got used to wearing leggings and all of that. Unless you wear a top as long as this orange one, if you're an A-frame, it's the only way you're going to get by with a legging, a very tight, skinny jean, tight fitting leg. You look much better in the boot cut. Boot cuts are very big this season. They never go out of style. And I think it's just a great look. And the top, again, is flattering. Notice, even though the scarf covers it slightly, it's a V-neck. It goes to a V, and it comes off upwards, the V towards the shoulders, which gives her a sense of building her out illusion-wise, and then illusion-wise slimming down the hip. And then it slightly curves in at the waist and flares out at the bottom. Perfect for this gal, just perfect. Let's talk about her H-frame. Now, think about it. Is she high-hipped or low-hipped? She's high. She's high. So let's look at some things that are best for her. There's a look they're doing right now with belts, and we're going to talk about belts here because there's 3 pictures with belts. The one Christina talked about that is truly her best, without a doubt, is the low dropped belt. Doesn't matter color-wise, etc. It's the low drop belt towards the hip line. Pulls your eye down. It doesn't emphasize her waist. And if you're going to emphasize the waist, in the picture with the pants that she's wearing over here with the sweater, the black pants, she is wearing a belt. Those are a little more low-hipped pants rather than high. And notice what she's done with the sweater. It's something they're doing a great deal now. They're tucking in the front and letting to the side and back hang out. And that gives her kind of that illusion of a waist to a hip line. The next illusion that I love is the black pant with the black jacket and the taupe center with the belt in the middle. I have no idea if she has a waist or not, because the illusion that you create with the buckle and the small portion of the belt showing, that's all she needs. It makes you think she's got a figure 8 body frame and she's ready to go. Just love this look on her. Then you'll see in the lavender, and I've tried to use all the colors that are in this season, but the lavender is certainly something she does very well, and that's the straight dropped look. Not everybody can do that. A figure 8 doesn't do it well. An A-frame doesn't do it very well because it'll be too big on top and tight on the bottom many times. But this H-frame and the V-frame, but the H-frame especially, will do this look extremely well. That beautiful lavender tone. And then you'll see one of the things I like to do in the bottom with sheer fabric. She's wearing a necklace that pulls your eye down and elongates her body, and it drops down going down past the bust line. She's not necessarily large busted. And if she is, she's going to leave that necklace alone. But if she's not, she's going to wear that. Though if she's larger busted, that necklace is just going to be like a pendulum as she walks, and that's unflattering. So it's a kind of a catch-22 sometimes. Let's look at our V-frame. Let's look at how to create the illusion and work with her in ways that are so flattering. The first thing I'm going to do with her that's going to be very hard for her. She's used to feeling small on the bottom, so she hugs the bottom. Because she's big on top, and at least she feels small on the bottom. But what she doesn't realize is that that's making her look bigger overall. When I hug what's tight, what's big, illusion-wise, only gets bigger. So let's take a look at some of the things I've done with her. Let's look at the jacket, the camel-colored jacket. Notice I've done a shoulder that isn't even a set-in sleeve. It's a dropped shoulder line. She's big-shouldered. We wouldn't put shoulder pads on this gal. It's a drop shoulder, and your emphasis is coming down. If she dropped her arms, or even as they are, it's wider at the bottom, so when her arms are down, it fills in where she's small in the hip area. It's a beautiful look for her to work with. The sweater and pant next to it in the olive and taupe, she's the one that wears extremely well the full leg. And it's very big right now. She should certainly consider it. She can wear the bell bottom. She is going to be larger busted, so she has to take that into consideration. Notice the sweater has that deep V and goes off, a wide V that goes off towards her shoulder line, but the eye really follows the deep V, and that's what's her best look. Also notice that the sweater drops past the waist, and actually if it were in front, it would cover up the waistband of and all of her pant, and be the interest would be elongated. Pardon me. The gal in the plaid, she wears patterns beautifully on the bottom. Not as much on top, but on the bottom, wonderful. If she's going to do patterns, she better do it all over the body, not top and not, all pattern on top and none on the bottom is normally not going to be that flattering. But let's look at her. She's put a cable knit in the middle. Wonderful, pulls your eye inward. She's wearing a flared plaid pant. It's not full-legged like the olive green one. It's a straighter leg, and it's extremely flattering on her. And then her coat, a straight line coat works very well. Our last gal over here with her dropped belt, this is a low-waisted pant, which she wears beautifully. And actually that pant, if we saw her down to her shoes, you would see that it's a bell-bottom pant. Her drop-waisted belt looks wonderful, and she's done soft finishes at the shoulder with her capelet kind of look on her body. Couldn't be better, just couldn't be better. And monochromatic on top of it makes it all well. Let's look at a figure eight. Now our figure eight has one thing, remember I said, she's got a lovely waistline. And you'll notice the gal in the poncho, she's a little fuller figured, a little fuller busted, a little fuller hipped, but she has emphasized that waist with that top, and it's extremely flattering on her. That's one where the tie comes through the capelet just slightly towards the front and ties in front. It gives you the illusion of a small waist. The gal in the suit in the middle, you'll notice that hers has the peplon finished look. The gal in the suit at the jacket at the bottom has more of a pleated look in her peplon. All of them are outstanding looks for a figure eight. What is she, high or low? She's low hipped, and she's a balanced body frame. Let's take a look here at some things that are very flattering. If you are a figure eight, you look better in medium to lighter weight fabrics. heavy, bulky, nubby, thick fabrics are not necessarily your friend. Keep that in mind as you're putting things together. The gal in the dress is wearing a knit dress, and that just drapes on her body frame. Yes, she's a little fuller figured, but she has a beautiful body, and she's accenting it very tastefully. And then we have the pant with the flare on the leg going down to the bottom, a little more of a bell bottom. She wears beautifully. She wears a straight leg, and depending on the length of the top, she can do a skinny jean as well, or a skinny pant. But right now in fashion, let's open that leg up a little bit. And this wrap sweater, you know why it's so good on her? First of all, it's a softer knit. Secondly, it wraps and it accommodates a fuller bust. Anything that will crisscross and drape on the body. And then in this case, what's even better is it ties, even if it's off to the side. Makes no difference. So that's her look. And that's the keys that I think of when I think of body frames and how to dress them. You'll never wear it all well. You'll never wear it all well. Next we have the second part of what's important about getting dressed is your clothing style, your clothing personality. It's equally as important as your body frame. Interestingly, they often go right hand in hand together. So let's take a look. We have 4 categories. And yes, there's some things that fit into these categories. A natural, for example. And here we have Jennifer Aniston. If you watch her on TV, commercials, anything, she's very casually dressed. And that's the trait of a natural. A natural doesn't want to feel her clothes. A natural is not a natural at shopping very, very often. She gets what she wants and she's done. And a lot of times if she finds a top that she likes, she'll buy it in several colors. The same with a pant or bottom. She's much harder for her to dress up than it is to dress casual. And casual wear honors her the very best. She is often an H-frame. She's a lot of times an A-frame. She's not as often a figure 8, and occasionally she can be a V-frame as well. But just that stronger body frame. Then we have the classic, and so many women fall within the classic category, or think they do. And that's something I want to clarify. A lot of times a natural thinks to look dressed up, she has to wear a classic look. And unless she's got classic in her, I'll get to that in a minute. Unless she's got that in her, it'll only make her look matronly. It won't make her look the best. But our classic, and of course, Princess Catherine is, or Princess Kate as we know her, is an absolute stunning classic look. And of course, Jennifer Lopez, and it's fun to choose somebody that hopefully you can picture or relate to, or when you see them in the public, in movies or whatever on TV. She's the romantic, and she's got the thighs, and she's got the derriere, and she's got all of that. And you know what? She isn't afraid to show it. It works very well on her. And last is the dramatic. And there's fewer dramatics than there are any of the others. I like to think that I'm a dramatic in many ways, but I'm a combination. And I'll tell you what that is in just a minute. The dramatic wants the high side of fashion. She wants the most current looks that are going on. She's a risk taker. She's not afraid to try things. Her biggest problem, are you ready, is fitting in. I just recently, a year ago, moved to San Diego. I would have to tell you honestly right now, about a third of my wardrobe doesn't seem to work out there. Everybody is so casual. And I'm finding that people look at me when I wear more of my dramatic looks than they're used to seeing that often. But a true dramatic will always be who she is. She can't help it. Now let's talk about combinations. I would say at least half of you fall within a combination category. And that is that I am a dramatic classic. And when I'm casual, I'm more classic with dramatic touches. And that's how I get by with being best who I am. My romantic, she can have a lot of classic in her at times. And she'll reveal it most when she dresses for business. She has to be careful not to be too sexy, too revealing of her very curvaceous body. The classic, well, she can be a little of any of them. She can be classic natural, she can be classic romantic, and of course, like me, she can be classic dramatic. The classic, her big challenge is staying current, especially in shoes. The second thing that she'll often be criticized over is being, when somebody said, oh, we're going to the soccer game this afternoon, and she shows up and she's all coordinated, put together, even if she's got jeans on, people are going, oh, I thought you were going to dress casual. She can't help it. It's just her nature. She's a monochromatic dresser. She's a two-tone dresser, but she will rarely wear multiple patterns together. She'll wear black and white. She'll wear brown and beige. She'll wear lavender and soft gray together. But she's never going to just wear all these large patterns all over her body. It's just out of her comfort zone, totally. Let's take a look at some of their styles. Here's our natural. It fits. Her fabrics, she expresses herself probably most in her fabrics. They're natural very often. In fact, I have a dear friend that is a natural dramatic. And she goes, if it doesn't say cotton, if it doesn't say linen, if it doesn't say wool or combinations of those, she's not interested. She's not even comfortable in some of the man-made fabrics. So let's take a look at the jeans and the cable knit sweater and the boot and the jacket, the shearling jacket. Shearling is in still. It's been in, it's back again. It's staying in, get it out. By the way, if you have a coat and you think, I've worn this, it's starting to look a little worn, shorten it. Wear it as a jacket like you see here. A lot of times where it gets worn is around the hemline in that area. Sleeves can too, but I highly recommend you just shorten it for this season. And she'll wear a scarf. For some of you, your idea of a scarf is folded and put in a drawer. But I want her to get out and just throw one at the neck around the jacket. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. If it's cold out, as you see here, wrap it around the neck some and get the benefit of it. She's a jeans girl. That's all there is to it. She's a denim girl. And even her handbag has natural look to it in the weave and the coarser leather look that she wears. She's just so natural, and she's so approachable. She's so comfortable to be around. She's not intimidating, and I love her for all of that. And you'll notice in her sweater and the teal and the boot, yes, I have a scarf on, a shaggy scarf, just simply put on. I encourage her to do that. That gives her look a more dressed up look, a dressy casual look. Let's take a look at a dressed up look for her. Here she is in a tweed skirt with a leather jacket, leather boot, leather bag, and a simple white blouse, or it could be a simple cowl neck sweater or turtleneck underneath it. Very, very simply this season. That's a great look for her. Then you have the gal in the middle that's wearing a stitched down pleated skirt, the English look, a boiled wool jacket, and that is an outstanding look for her as well. And our last gal in her cable knit cardigan with a belt finishing her waistline and a nubby tweed skirt with a flat boot, outstanding. That's her look. She's the one that wears these so well. All right, let's move on. Now let's look at our classic. Remember, I said she's a monochromatic dresser, very definitely. And you'll see it in the red pants and red top. You know, she doesn't even have to put accessories on with it, but I'll always tell you, wear some earrings. I don't care if it's just a stud and that's all you wear as a natural. Make sure you've got earrings on to finish your look. And here she is in a flared pant, looks wonderful on her. She's not a figure 8, but she is a balanced body frame, which means she's not extremely large busted, but the width of her shoulders is equal to the width of her hips, and she tapers in at the waist. The gal in the middle could be a variety of things, but here she is in her mini skirt and the Celt look in her skirt and wearing one of the beautiful greens out there right now. Here she is in a two-tone look. She wears it beautifully, very softly tailored in the jacket, the skirt, the sweater, the boot, the handbag, the whole 9 yards. And then we have the gal that's wearing the turtleneck sweater, and remember, monochromatic. She loves it when she has a shoe and a handbag to match. And notice that the difference in monochromatic for her here right now is that she's wearing tone on tone, different colors of red that harmonize together, and fabrics that are different, a velvet skirt with a soft knit sweater and leather shoes and leather handbag. They all work so well together. Let's take a look at some of the other things that she does so well. In the middle, we see a pant. There's your bell bottom. There's your bell bottom, and a sweater, a short sleeve sweater top for those of you who, regardless of the season, get warm very easily. This is an easy way to do it, but what's really neat is the jacket she wears over it that she would never have to take off if she didn't want to. And it has soft, curved lines to it, very tailored, very soft in appearance. Simple earrings that harmonize with the two colors she's wearing, and bracelets that pick up the look as well. Coordinated, I think's the word I'm looking for. Here she is in a green coat that's going to go with almost everything, realizing green is a neutral color. We don't think about it that way, but it is. Think about what green can't go with. I can't think of much of anything that you couldn't put green on with. So buying a coat in that color would not be a problem. And here she is in an orange leather skirt, simple, finished, with a belt, very clean, soft lines. She wears it so well. Check the boot out. She would do that. It's not too extreme, a little dramatic, pardon me, for some people. But for her, she would wear that and enjoy it. Now our romantic. Once again, here she is with her more fitted, defined waistline. And you'll see her where she's very slender and very shapely, or you're going to see her where she's shapely but fuller figured. The green and the gal in the detailed embroidered jean, which they're back. And by the way, Chico's is famous for that look if you're looking for them, but many other manufacturers are putting them, and designers are putting them out as well. That's a casual look for her, with her soft belled sleeve with the bit of open lace work on the sleeve. And a business look for her would be, for example, the red skirt. She could get by perhaps with the green monochromatic look. It's a little dressier, but she could do it. I'd probably wear a short jacket with that as well. But if you look at the red jacket coat, it's excellent for her. She's a belted coat gal, no matter what, longer or shorter. This is what we call mid-length coat. And because she's such a sculpted fit in her skirts, like you see in the red skirt, she wears that length coat so well. And it's a warmer coat. I love the sculpted skirt, the red skirt. It just emphasizes that we call it a tulip skirt. And she's actually even wearing a bit of a modified version of it in the green. If she isn't wearing lace, which we sometimes think of as a romantic, she can wear it, she does wear it, but it certainly isn't her only option. But she would pick up the bow at the neck, a soft, large, soft drapey bow in a satin finish. She would be easily attracted to that. Then we have the tweed at the bottom. That's about as bulky as she's going to get, and she's got to be slender to do it, because otherwise it's going to really enlarge, illusion-wise, her body. But with that bow on the side, that black velvet bow and the velvet collar, just exceptional. What she did to make it work even better, please note she's got a solid black skirt on underneath, not a tweed skirt like the jacket is. That's too much texture for her. This is just such a great option. Well, let's look at a casual look for a romantic. A casual look is still going to have softness to it. Doesn't matter what it is. And if you look at the khaki bell-bottom pants she's shaping, fitting her hips and her thighs and going into the current style of bell-bottom, she likes that better than she likes a full-leg pant. She's putting on a little flat with a bow on it instead of a boot necessarily. She's getting her feminine earrings and bracelets, and she's wearing a soft scarf at the neck of the cardigan, which is sculpted shaped by nature, and a front that kind of lies open so that you can see her body curvature whenever she puts it on. Then you'll see in the other picture, you're going to see a drapey, soft, off-the-shoulder look with a long drapey necklace. Pick up the handbag. There's some manufacturer, Betsy Johnson, makes a romantic handbag that's adorable. And TJ Maxx will carry them sometimes, and it'll have a bow tied on it like this. Don't be afraid to try it. And even in her, instead of a boot, which she will wear, she's chosen a lace-up shoe, which is so fun and neat in her look. Last but not least, my favorite category, the dramatic. She has and will wear and choose some of the most out there looks. Her biggest problem is she dates herself very quickly. She's tired of her look within 9 months very often. She has to be careful with that. And she'll go from being an exaggerated romantic, like the gal in with the gray suit on at the bottom picture with the fur wrapped 5-inch heel, which she would absolutely love. And very dramatic look. That's that romantic with a dramatic flair to it. And then at the top here we have a natural that's going extremely dramatic with the tie, the belt, the sweater, the man's shirt collar, etc. And then we have the gal that would be in the long red dress. She's dramatic, but she has pulled in some of the classic finished look and the monochromatic and the very clean lines to her body. She's very angular, and notice this gal. Her shoulders are very broad, her angled face. That's why I'm I'm not a true 100% dramatic. She is. And then of course we have the gal in the leather coat, belted. She's wearing that as a dress and very happy to wear it. Let's look at some other things with her. Oh, I want to go back a minute. There we are. I wanted to emphasize, she wears the tweed looks, but take a look at the neckline on the multicolored sweater coat that's in the upper picture, towards the middle here. I mean, that's exaggerated, and I love it. If I could find that, I'd own that. Except it doesn't go well in San Diego. Now, next time. Let's take a look at a few other things that she wears so well. She does put on the man-tailored look, and she pulls it off beautifully. Because she has the dramatic, she's going to have the hairstyle that will work with it. She's going to have the body frame that's angular and straight. Now the gal that's in the yellow or citronella kind of look here, in their monochromatic look, it's beautiful. It's totally different than the man-tailored double-breasted suit. But that's dramatic too. Not everybody is going to be comfortable putting that look on. I would love that look more than the man-tailored look. I love the puffy sleeve. I love the flared leg. I love the high-waisted look and the turtleneck. All of it appeals to me in my style, but it also has the influence of classic. Then, of course, there's the leather skirt, the long leather, uneven hem skirt. Oh, she's going to pick that up and wear it and do all kinds of fun things. I think the thing that I enjoy the very most in the winter are my leather pants. A pair of black leather pants like the gal with the coat trimmed in leather, and it's very angular, and I would own that in a heartbeat if I could find it. Well, those are some good examples, I hope, that will help you understand the difference in the personalities. In fact, let me do something. With the clothing style, let's go backwards and take a quick look before we end. This is our dramatic look. This is romantic casual. This is romantic dress to business. This is classic, more casual. This is classic to her absolute look of business to more dressed look. This is a dress-up look for the natural, all right? And here she is in what she loves the very most, her jeans and easy looks with sweaters, etc. Well, that gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on in fashion and who should and shouldn't wear it. Thank you. It's been a joy to be with you again. My favorite season, the fall-winter, with the wonderful fabrics and the wonderful looks. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Didn't Ruth and Christina do a fabulous job? I thank them both for sharing the pieces of the image that they have put together. You know, if you want further information and more details on some of the things they talked about, I want to encourage you to go to appareladvice.com. That's appareladvice.com. And on that site, you can actually find out your own clothing personality. You can find out your body frame information with the do's and don'ts. You will receive back, okay, you're an A frame, this is what you wear, this is what you don't wear. And it's very, very helpful. You also can get advice on an outfit. Have you ever had an outfit and you weren't sure which shoes to go with it or which jewelry? You can take a picture, lay out those pieces, and send them to appareladvice.com, and she will tell you which shoes, which accessories, which skirt or whatever goes with the outfit. It's a great, great help. And you know, sometimes she can even go shopping with you. You can do a virtual shopping where you set up a time with Apparel Advice and you have Ruth shop with you virtually. So I think you'll have a good time if you go to appareladvice.com and check out some things on that site. Another fun thing to do is get with the person that maybe introduced you to this film, and we have a whole makeover site for hair, makeup, what looks best on you. You can even try on different colors. You can try on different hairdos, and it's really a fun makeover app. So please get with whoever invited you to see this video and follow through. You'll have a lot of fun. And also, we have another video that you might want to participate in, another link that's all about feeling good in and out. You know, we've talked now about the external image. We always believe the internal is more important, but sometimes you need the external so that people can relax and work on their internal. Should be the reverse, but it's often not. But I do want to tell you that we have a video. You can get the link, and it will tell you how to feel good. There are pieces of image that involve what you put into your body, not just what you put externally outside. So you might be interested in finding out things about the exterior and interior, vitamin use, etc., for your own individual image. So I hope you'll take advantage of that, and we look forward to sharing other videos with you. God bless.